Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, aka Keats39 here. Coming with a little different video here today. Gonna kind of go over the chalky type plays. Talk to you if they're good chalk, bad chalk, and possibly give a couple pivots on the guys I think might not be the best chalk. Okay, so starting at quarterback, Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. They're going to be the two top end guys. For cash, I definitely want one of these two, and honestly, for GPP, I'm probably going to play one of these two as well. And I think Russ, I'll throw in there as well. They just have such a high floor and such a high ceiling, and there's a ton of value out there this week. So I don't really see the why it'd be necessary to get cute at quarterback. I'd rather pivot at other spots. I think that for GPP, a pivot off of them. I think that Jared Goff in a matchup with the Seahawks is very interesting. Goff typically is very dependent on if he's getting pass rush or not. Really, like if he has time, he has all the time in the world. He just isn't the best. Doesn't read defenses particularly well. Um, but I don't like in this type of shootout. Like as I've said every other week. I think Seattle is just terrible on defense, and they want to score. So Jared Goff, I think, has probably definitely gets the 300 bonus. Probably throws a couple touchdowns. Um, so I think upside is definitely there. Another guy I like is Tom Brady. Coming off just a terrible performance. It was his first game with Antonio Brown. Just got Chris Godwin back. I don't think the Carolina their pass defense isn't bad, but I don't think that they can guard the three stud wide receivers plus Gronk. So I think that he's a very interesting GPP pivot at his price of 63. But for cash, I'm definitely going one of the three running mobile quarterbacks. None of the matchups there scare me. I think Deshaun Watson probably draws some ownership, but I don't really plan on playing him because of the weather. But I think for GPP, I do think he has upside, and I think a lot of people are going to bail on him because of the weather. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I'm at for quarterback. I think Ben is really cheap. Bad defensive blowout potential. But I actually think that Joe Burrow probably throws up some points there. So I think that at his 6.2 price, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Ben put up like a 25-point game. So for running back, Aaron Jones is going to be the chalk guy up top. And as of now, I plan on playing him both cash and GPP. I really do think that he's going to break the slate tomorrow. He's mispriced. Jamal Williams is back, but he's more of a pass catcher, and I just think that in this spot, especially with the wins, I think that Green Bay destroys Jacksonville and the rookie quarterback. Don't expect to see what he did last week against Green Bay. I think it's a lot of running, and Aaron Jones catches too. I like no AJ Dillon. I think provides a little bit of safety for Aaron Jones here. Had the week to get healthy. Um, Guy, I think a good pivot off of him is James Conner. Um, I don't plan on doing it much, but I'm having thoughts about it after some news. Anthony McFarland hasn't practiced, and Mike Tomlin doesn't play rookies when they don't practice. So I think that it's going to be Benny Snell's the only one that's going to threaten him. And I've been telling people the last couple of weeks that James Conner does scare me because Pittsburgh does like to run Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland out there. In this really good matchup, I think that James Conner has upside, but out of the guys at the top, I think that his floor is definitely one of the lower ones up there. I like the pivots of Hunt and Nick Chubb. I think that Nick Chubb. Actually, I think both of them go very low end because people are scared of the prices, but I expect a heavy dosage out of them. Let me look here. Miles Sanders is a really good GPP pivot. I don't really like them. Like I think he might actually be a little higher end than I would like, and I don't like the. I think that the Giants have a better defense than most people give them credit for. But so the guy, one of my favorite guys this week is Antonio Gibson. Super talented. I like him and McKissick. I believe that TK talked about McKissick a lot on the other video, so I won't mention or won't go too in depth on that. But so this Washington offense, they really focus three guys. It's Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. Like they don't really do give the ball to many other people. I think it's a really juicy draw. Antonio Gibson got kind of in the doghouse last week, but he's going to be the goal line back. He catches passes, and he's the better runner. And I think that Washington wins this game pretty easily. Well, not pretty easily, but I think that Washington wins this game probably by a touchdown or so. And that kind of game flow, I really prefer Antonio Gibson. Although I do like McKissick a ton, but I think Antonio Gibson has like really really high upside. Um, so then the chalk guy in this range is going to be Duke Johnson. This is probably going to be like a game time decision for me. I'm going to wait to see some news to see what I do at like other wide receiver spots to see if I want the value there or not. I love the talent of Duke Johnson. I think that he's been deserving of a 3-down role. Hasn't gotten it. He had it last week. Didn't do too much with it, but was still productive for fantasy. Um, and I don't love the matchup against Cleveland. However, I think that the weather is going to help him. They're going to run more. They're going to throw checkdowns, and that's what Duke Johnson does very well, is catch the ball. So yeah, that's going to be like a kind of a last second decision for me probably. But I do like the spot a lot. So go down here. So the guy that everyone's going to play is Mike Davis. However, I actually don't like. I think he's an auto click for cash. GPP, I just don't see him being in the winning lineup. Like I don't like playing guys against Tampa. They do give up catches to the running back, which very much puts him like he definitely could get there, but he's gonna have to score touchdowns, and I don't know if he does that here. But auto click for cash. But I actually do like seeing pivots off of Mike Davis. I like even if you go up and get a second really good running back, that's kind of like I'm gonna play with that. But yeah, definitely don't fade him in cash. Over to wide receiver, I think it's stacked. We have another decision this week on Devontae Adams. The wins are kind of pushing me to not play him. All that like you're praying he doesn't get 30 at this point, which I mean like the matchup is really solid. Like they have no one that can guard him. But 9K is tough to pay. Definitely can be done. So like kind of comes down to your builds. I don't think he screws you this week if on a fade, but like he's the wide receiver one by a long shot. So the pivots often like this mid range or this like 6 to 7.5K range is stacked. I think Stephon Diggs is an awesome play in this shootout to stack with Josh Allen. I'm gonna guess he gets a lot of Pat Pete, but Pat Pete has no chance against Stephon Diggs. Michael Thomas, it's a weird matchup. But I don't know what like they can't guard him. Like they have guys that are solid, but the way that they move around Mike Thomas, and I don't think he's going to be end at all. People aren't going to play him because he's San Fran coming off an injury, but he's been healthy for like 2 weeks now. I think he's a really solid play. Keenan Allen is a guy that I think is going to be higher. I'm going to be lower on the field than. I really respect the corners of the Miami Dolphins. Byron Jones. It'll be interesting to see if they send one of Byron Jones or Xavier Howard into the slot to follow him. They also have the rookie they drafted in the first round. He hasn't been great this year, but I really do see them putting one of those guys in the slot. I don't know which one, but I think that both of them are very, very good. I'm pretty sure they're the two highest paid in the league, and for a good reason. Cooper Kupp, I think, is an awesome play. I think more people play Robert Woods, who I also love. But people are going to be scared because Cooper Kupp had that injury that came up. I don't really think it's anything. And we just saw their last game. He had 21 targets, put up 25 DK points. I think inside is where they're going to beat Seattle a lot with. So I definitely like him a lot. Terry McLaurin is going to probably be one of the higher end guys. I love Terry McLaurin. For cash, I'm definitely playing him. I think he's awesome for GPP too. But I have a little bit of scare in me about Alex Smith starting. But he played a lot of last game, and Terry McLaurin was awesome. They move him around a lot. We know that Alex Smith doesn't like to throw it deep, but Terry McLaurin does literally everything. So I think that he's still a very, very solid play. Robert Woods, I mentioned. Tyler Lockett, I think, is going to be really high end because everyone's going to think that Jalen Ramsey guards DK Metcalf, and I think that's very good reasoning. Although I'm not going to say that 100% happens. Jalen Ramsey has guarded the slot receiver a lot this year. I could definitely see them putting Jalen Ramsey on Tyler Lockett, double covering DK Metcalf. I don't think that's what happens. I think that they do guard Jalen Ramsey or DK Metcalf with Jalen Ramsey. However, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what what I said before is what they ended up doing. But I do like Lockett a lot. That's the top. It's pretty much like that's like where I'm at. I'm trying to get three of those guys. I think Jerry Jeudy very much in play against Vegas. Had him in cash last week, and he bailed me out big time. He was awesome. John Brown, nice little GPP play. So Deontay Johnson, I think, is gonna be pretty chalky. And I've played him every game. I think that he might end up with the one matchup I don't like on the Steelers, and that's I think William Jackson's a really good corner. I don't know how he's been too much this year. I know he's missed a lot of games, but I do think he's a really good corner. I think that he might see a lot of Deontay. Could be Claypool, but I think either way, I do like Deontay a lot. I think he's still really solid. Guy I really am looking at a lot is Sterling Shepard. I think that if Golden Tate misses, I'm gonna play Sterling Shepard in cash. If I get Sterling Shepard in the slot, I love playing him, and I believe that's where he would play a lot of if that happens. I still like him a lot if he plays outside. His target share is awesome. I'm pretty sure last game they guarded a lot. Or Darius Slay on they put Darius Slay on Darius Slayton. Sorry, that's really weird. But that's what they did a decent amount, and he shut him down. And Sterling Shepard had a really good game on that primetime game. But if he plays the slot, I know that he gets a great matchup, and I know he gets a great target share. So I'll have a lot of interest there. TK talked about Cole Beasley. I do like Cole Beasley a lot as well. And that's pretty much. I think that a guy that's going to go overlooked is Danny Amendola. I played him last week, and he was really good. He just gets a lot more targets with no Kenny Galladay, and now that TJ Hawkinson showed up on the injury report and has a chance of missing, that only is going to increase his target share. I think he's really a solid cash play. Don't know how much upside he has. Although we saw him last year have a couple big games when the guys were hurt, so I don't hate the play there. Over to tight end. For cash, I'm really only considering two guys. It's Darren Waller or Dallas Goedert. I probably definitely am playing Dallas Goedert. I think he's just really good. Has a really good match, or not really good, but one of the probably the best matchup out of the Philadelphia offensive players. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Alshon Jeffrey back, but Dallas Goedert, like right off injury, like just came off the IR and played like all the snaps, so that was really encouraging to see. Didn't do much. He only had like one catch, but was running routes on like every play, played every snap, so I do like him a ton. And then Darren Waller, it's not like any great matchup, but his target share is just really good, and I'll never blame anyone for just taking your for short points in cash at tight end, which is because it's typically a pretty gross position. I think Noah Fant really solid. Vegas isn't good against tight ends, and you get a guy that didn't get too many targets last game, which kind of sucked. I had him everywhere, as most people did, so it didn't really kill me. But but just his talent plus price, press opportunity is just really, really good. Um, I think that Mike Gesicki is a really interesting GPP pivot. No Preston Williams, so like their wide receiver core is really, really thin. I think he plays a lot out in the slot a lot, anyways. But I just think that he might get a couple extra targets, and like. I don't work. I don't. The matchup doesn't scare me. So at his 4.2, I typically like playing him when games that shoot out because he's really good at getting those garbage time catches. Um, I didn't see what he did last week with two. Let me check this quick. Um, yeah, he had 3 for 42. Nothing's not great, but I think he's just really talented too. Like they're trying to get this guy to be their like featured red zone guy, but they've been throwing a lot to other tight ends. So that is the one worry. I think Jordan Reed also for GPP. Um, I think he has just a lot of tight end or touchdown upside against New Orleans. They were really bad against the tight end. The game's gonna have to stay competitive, or they won't keep him out there and risk him for injury. I still don't know if he's gonna get a full workload of snaps, but he hasn't any game this year, and we saw he had some monster games earlier the year. So um, that's pretty much all I'm at. If Jay Sternberger misses, I think that, or if Robert Tanya misses, I think that Jay Sternberger becomes in play, um, just because he's gonna have a lot of opportunities for touchdowns. Nothing much more than a dart throw, but um, I think that is an option. Um, yep, and that's pretty much going to do it. I'm not really going to go into defenses. I think that the chalk plays are. I think that I'm probably just going to play the chalk or punt. Like I might end up punting with like the 49ers or something. But I plan on playing probably New Orleans or Washington. Those are the teams I'm looking at. But I've been saying it forever. Get rid of defenses in DraftKings and fantasy in general. It's just kind of a fluky position, so I'm not going to go into depth there. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Good luck this week. Later.